This is the motor for my 1963 Honda Dream CA95. It's a 150cc motor, inline 2-cylinder, and it is time to disassemble this thing. I don't know about you guys, but I am just so curious to see what a 50-plus-year-old motor looks like inside. It also had like close to 10,000 miles. Then the compression's not bad, especially after I adjusted the valves. But at the same time, I'm also very curious why I had to adjust the valve clearances as much as I did. They needed a lot of adjustment to get it within spec. So I'm expecting a lot of wear and tear inside this motor, but it ran okay. It took so long to get it running, but once I did, it ran okay, and the transmission shifted good, although I never had it in 4th gear, but 3rd gear was going good around like 30 miles an hour. It had an issue where it would always kind of like take forever for the 2nd cylinder to start firing, and I know it's not ignition related, so I don't know, there might be some goofiness going on inside this engine. Let's first clean this thing up. We're gonna get all the outside cleaned up. Should be a pretty fun video. Let's see what's wrong with this engine. The best engine degreaser ever, not Purple Power, just soapy water. I just refilled this with some dish soap and water, and it sat on here for about 15 minutes, and I can already see all that grease coming right off. Alright, it's about half an hour later, and I think this is about as clean as I can get the engine, because as I was brushing it, some of this like paint stuff, I don't know, started coming off of the side. Yeah, I think we'll go ahead and disassemble this thing, starting with the easy stuff like the kickstart lever. Okay, now it's time to pull off the valve cover. A few 14mm nuts, and we'll have this guy off in no time. Well, spoke too soon. A couple of tight ones up here, but oh yeah. Looks like no one's had this thing off in a while. I wonder if anyone's ever been inside this engine. Kind of seems like it, because this is an acorn nut, and then all these other ones are just normal nuts. Oh, that's all of them, so it should come off now. Yep, there it is. I guess those were also the head studs. I think the only thing holding the head on now is probably the timing chain, cam chain. So that means that it is now time to pull off this side cover and see how we can get the timing chain off of the cam sprocket. Oh, looks like this is gonna be easy. Just looks like there's three bolts holding on the cam sprocket. There's 1, 2, and 3. Now I think that this guy will just pop right off, maybe. Yep, nice. Maybe we can get it out of there, that'd be ideal, before it falls down into the abyss. There it is, the cam sprocket. Some kind of little mounting plate thing too. Looks like this is some kind of metal gaskety thing. Let's pull that off. We can see what's going on in there. Oh, there's the camshaft. Looking pretty camshafty. Wonder if the head will come off now. Audio testing. Audio testing. Came up like half an inch, and that's now I can't get any more. It's just frozen on this one head stud, so I'm gonna spray some penetrating oil down the hole. Might as well do all of them. Sometimes I get a little carried away with the hammer and the pry bar, so I'm gonna just take a step back, take a break, so I don't break anything else. It is the next day, and I finally got this head freed up. Let's take a look at it. This middle stud right here, that's what was causing all the problems, but there it is. There is the head. Looks like this thing had a stuck valve, maybe two stuck valves. Stuck intake valve on the left cylinder. That totally makes sense now, because that was the one that was like not really wanting to fire. And then the exhaust valve on the right cylinder is also slightly stuck. Well, let's put one of these cam sprocket bolts back in. I wonder what would happen if we tried to spin the camshaft. Oh, there we go. Valves are moving now. Maybe we didn't have a stuck valve. I don't know. And then onto the cylinder. This head gasket got destroyed in the process of removing the head. What I actually ended up having to do was wedge a wooden hammer handle in between the head and the cylinder, and that's what finally freed it off of this rusted frozen head stud right here. Hey, there's both of those nuts. Yeah, this cylinder's probably super stuck on there. Maybe if I try just giving a little light tap right here. This isn't going to hurt anything because that's just where that nut was. It's not actually a gasket surface. If we just tap that. Oh, yep, that's all it needed. And there's the cylinder. Wow, that thing is heavy. Cylinder doesn't look too bad. Definitely some scoring, but nothing really to worry about in the cylinder area. It's definitely some scoring though. Yeah, pistons don't look bad. I don't see really any black under the piston rings. Surprisingly, this engine was pretty healthy. Cute little pistons. Maybe now we can get the timing chain back. Yep. There's the timing chain. And there's that timing chain. We got it out. I'm gonna go ahead and pull these pistons out. One piston. Okay, now before we get too much deeper into the bottom end, I'm definitely gonna have to drain the oil out of this thing. I bet you guys have never seen someone drain the oil out of an engine like this before. And that oil was pretty dang black. Now I'm going to pull the side clutch cover off. Got all but 2 out. That ain't bad. Ah, haha. There it is. There's the clutch cover, little oil slinger thing. Now let's go ahead and pull the clutch out. Let's have a look at this clutch, shall we? Ah, a good bit of life left in those clutch plates. There's the clutch actuator. It looks like this one's just held in, not by a nut, but by a C-clip. That's new. Now the whole thing should come out. Look at that little inner hub. Not really much wear on that either. That's good. Well, I think that's all the easy stuff I can get on that side, so let's flip it around, work on the stator side a bit. Hopefully this one's easier. Yep. There's the points, condenser, and stator case, clutch, cable connection area, and here is the stator. And there's the points advancer. There's the starter motor, which is connected by a chain, which is something you don't see every day. Speaking of the starter motor, let's see if we can get this guy off. Man, that thing is heavy. And what about the sprocket? Oh, what about the whole stator? Will this guy come out? Well, maybe the magneto actually has to come out first. Spark advancer. I think the starter motor chain is actually what's holding that thing on. Let's see if we can get that off first. There it is. Looks just like the timing chain. There's the magneto. Looks like the starter clutch is built onto the flywheel on this model. There's the stator timing chain tensioner. After some research, I found out that the oil pump actually has to come off before the clutch basket can come off. There's the oil pump, oil screen, actually looking pretty clean. Well, there's the freaking clutch basket, and there's the oil pump piston. In order to get the Kickstarter shaft out, I had to pull out this little rubber plug thing, and then there's a C-clip inside. There's a shift shaft. It is time to split the cases. This engine has top and bottom cases, so we're gonna start out with these two big nuts on the top. He said big nuts. Easy. Yep, that's I think all the other bolts, nuts are on the bottom. Yep. There's the starter motor wire. There's the starter motor wire. Get the mallet out, see if these cases will split. Missed a bolt down here. Okay, I think that was the last one. Woo! There it is. Love that. Transmission gears look good. Man, this was a healthy engine. There's the other set of gears. And there's the crankshaft and connecting rods. There's the timing chain tensioner spring. And there's the shift drum still in there because you got to pull off these shift forks first. They're actually bolted on. Now I guess it is. Now the shift drum should come out. Yep. Nice. Shift drum looks to be in good shape. Well, that's it guys. For better or for worse, the engine is fully disassembled. I'm surprised by you know, the amount of sludge in this engine. It's not much. There's a little bit of sludge in the bottom, but for a engine that doesn't really even have an oil filter, just an oil screen and a slinger, it's pretty good. Someone really must have maintained the engine on this bike. It's a shame because the engine was maintained so well, but the whole rest of the bike was just like left outside to die, or left in a very wet environment because the whole outside of the bike is completely rusted. And that's why I've decided to part this bike out. It's really sad for me to say that because I know this bike had so much potential, and there were a good bit of you guys that wanted to see me restore it, but it would just take so much to get this bike restored back in good condition. A lot of the parts I have are just rusted out completely and would need replaced, like the wheels and probably the frame. It's just, it would take too much money, one, and the other thing is it would just take way too much time to fully restore this bike the way that I would need to. I mean, it would probably take me all spring and summer to do this. That would limit my whole channel to just that one restoration. And I know that that's not what you guys want. You might want to see a quick restoration, but it's just me doing it. It would take a long time and the results would be good, but would it be worth it? I don't think so. So if you need parts for a 1963 to 66 Honda CA95 Dream, check out my eBay channel, or check out my eBay store. I've got a ton of parts on there already, and all the rest of these engine parts will go up soon. But there were just so many weird things about it that I didn't know, and I kind of just, I should have done research first, but I kind of just broke stuff trying to get it out. And if you have to hit stuff with a hammer repeatedly in an engine, then you're probably doing something wrong. So learn from my mistakes, guys. That's the moral of the story here. Hopefully you enjoyed the video though, and I do have some big news, a whole new project that I know you guys will be super excited about, and it's going to be more exciting than this Honda Dream restoration would have been. So stay tuned because that video is going to be uploaded tomorrow, and you'll see what my next project's going to be, and I'm super excited to unveil that. So stay tuned guys, hit that subscribe button and the notification bell so you don't miss out on my next build. It's going to be awesome. Like the video if you enjoyed it, and again, I'm sorry to you guys that wanted to see me restore this bike. It was just, would have been way too much work and time that I don't have. So hopefully you guys understand. I'll see you tomorrow. Peace out.